What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to RAD Company Season 2. And we've got a special one today, guys. It's actually one that was supposed to be a few weeks ago. I didn't feel well, so I had to postpone it, reschedule it. So it was on me. But I want to make sure to get it in now. If you guys don't know, I've actually been kind of under the weather the last 2 days as well. But I'm going to muscle through because I want to talk to these two about what they've got going on in the content creating space. So I want to learn this story. If you guys don't know, I'm sure you do. You know Christian, Planet CHH. We do a lot of collabs, but him and his wife have a newer venture that they started called UNEEDA Candles. And it's really taken off, in my opinion. And I want to just kind of get the full story on like how this started, and the progressions and what to expect from them. And I just think it's going to be a real good conversation. And before I bring them in, I just want to see who's in the chat now. And I'll say what's up to everybody. So let me go through. I see Sam. What's going on, Sam? How are you? Welcome. Cody, Dude Loves Movies. What is going on? Cody says, Roundhouse kick the like button. Awesome. I agree. Please do. Roundhouse kick the like button. Rad Pack's in here. What's up, homies? Holly Go Frightly, what's going on? Michigan Dipper, what's going on? Scratch Burno, how are you? Trailer Park Slasher, what is going on? Ken Carlson, Wickerman 4K. I saw that. Advertised. I'm actually excited for that a lot. Oh, Tabata Vision in the house. He's raging. He's raging over there. Akeem, what's up, man? Let me see. You can't get lit because you get drug tested. No, not that kind of lit. Movie Junkie John, what is going on? Stuntman Mark, how are you? Darklight Entertainment, what's going on? Waldo, yeah, it's going to be a fun stream. It's going to be a fun stream. Rob Zilla, how are you doing? So, gang, that's what I have the chat right now. Before we get any further, obviously, like I said, I want to know the story about this, and they always got new things popping. And what's funny about these things is you got to kind of be quick on it. There's been a bunch of times I've been at work and things have dropped, and as soon as I message him, it's like, oh, they're gone. So you got to be quick with this kind of stuff. But without further ado, and I'm excited for this because it's almost like a kind of a debut tonight on the tube here, kind of. But I'm going to bring in the dynamic duo over at UNEEDA Candles. What is going on, peeps?
Hey,
Hello.
Look at this, dude. What do you got? C4 over there? Or is that Ghost? What we got?
sour watermelon.
Oh, sick.
It's good.
How is that one?
It's good. It's really good.
Nice. Well, how you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good. I mean,
Hello, Sydney. How many times did you hear that this week?
I hear that. I've heard that my entire life. Yeah.
This week, dude, it's all about Scream, man. Scream's everywhere. Has Nick called you about 25 times just to say that, or no?
No, he's not allowed to call me on the phone.
He's not allowed. just via messenger. That's it.
Just messenger and yeah. So
That
no,
is so funny.
I don't do the hello Sydney to Sydney.
Not anymore. You
That
probably
would
did
be-
at one point though.
That would annoy me.
No,
just to do
Christian
it.
has surprisingly never done that.
Even when you
Because
guys
Scream's-
first met, he didn't say it as like to try to be cute or whatever.
No.
Because Scream's overrated. It's like, why am I going to waste my time reciting
what?
lines from a crappy '90s movie?
Christian, you know what? I think you've got to do a couple more rewatches, and maybe you'll change your mind, pal. I think that's what needs to happen here. That's what I think. But we got a lot of people in the house saying what's up. Before we get started here, I get a super chat. I want to see what we got. Cody, $5 super chat says, I've got my Leprechaun 3 wax melt melting right now. Speaking of that, I do have one melting right now too. I've got the Halloween one going right now, actually.
Hell yeah.
And look, Rob Zilla says Scream is terribly overrated.
Cheers, Robzilla.
Look at that. So yeah, let's talk about this. So again, I know a little bit about what kind of started all this, but Sydney, it's on you. Talk to us about this because it was kind of your brainchild, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, years ago, I was talking to a friend and we thought it would be cool to have a candle company that was based around horror. And then it just kind of sat for a while. And then the start of 2022, I was like, screw it, let's just do it. So we spent majority of the year trying to get everything kind of figured out to launch.
Yeah, no. Now I remember when you guys launched. Obviously, it takes a lot not only to just do the candle itself. Like, I wouldn't even know where to start when it came to any of this. Like, I wouldn't know how to even create the wax melts, how to get the scents, how to get the colors. Like, none of that to me. Now, was this a process of getting the materials ready? Like, when you guys are about to launch, does it become like, hey, here's what we're gonna do. Now we got to order a bunch of stuff, and then we got to get this all set up, and then you just go. Like, what's the process now on like creating some of these melts? Like, let me just case in point. Like, there's the Halloween one sitting right here. Okay, so this is the one that I have melting right now. This is Halloween, the night he came home one, pumpkin spice. So what's the kind of the process? You don't have to give it all away, but I mean, you've got to order a lot of this stuff, right? Or do you have like this stuff ready to go? That because was this a hobby of yours at one point, like just for the house, and you decided to kind of go with it, or?
Well, I think around 2019, 2020, I started making candles just because like we always wanted like a fall scented candle, but we always wanted them when they were not in season. So we just started making candles just for fun, and then decided to do wax melts and maybe try and start a business, which we've been lucky that it, kind of took it like it did. But really it's just, I spent the beginning probably about 6 months at least trying to figure out what type of wax I wanted to use, like where we wanted to go with all of this. And it's just now I have everything. Like I have a kind of a schedule. We make a schedule of what we want to hit when during the year, and then we just kind of order everything and go from there.
Now, how, like on a process, like let's say you guys only release a limited amount, which I think is cool because, what I've kind of seen going on is that they sell out relatively quick. And for some people, and I think this is huge, no matter what you're selling, if it has to do with candles or this, that, some people just want these as collector's items in a sense. Like they're collecting like their damn Funko Pops, which is great for you. You know what I mean? Because it's like people just want them to be like, hey, I've got the set, or I've got this, or hey, I've got all the Halloween ones. And it's a real cool concept that you guys have there. So when like we're going to drop this, do you guys have an idea of, okay, we're only going to do 30? Because I can imagine it taking relatively long time to even make, like, let's say 30 wax melts. How long would that take you to do?
It just really depends. Like the colors, if I have to do like multiple like colors, I'm doing a specific design, it takes a little bit longer because you have to pour it and, kind of get that design in there. If it's just like a one color, it doesn't take quite as long, but we really just plan out how popular we think something is going to be and then figure out how many to make from there. We're still making them in small batches. So I can really only do like 12 at a time for like the way I'm doing it right now, because we just don't have the space really to do all of this as fast as we're expanding. We hope to eventually move everything to the garage, but right now it's just in the kitchen.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I've seen like Christian's posted a pic like of like everything done, and it's basically they're all taking up the whole countertop and stuff. So now when it comes to the other part of it, which is like the logos and stuff, is that kind of more Christian's thing on like the packaging aspect of it?
Yeah, we kind of brainstorm and then he goes and makes like a design and then gives it to me to kind of finalize it to make it fit on the wax melt.
But usually, hey, I don't like that. Go do it again. And then 2 or 3 passes before.
We need it perfect.
Before she'll finally give me the it's either 2 or 3 passes, or she's finally like fine, whatever, or she'll end up finally liking it.
Do you just, is there been a time where you're like, well, what do you want me to do? Like,
oh yeah. Nothing's more frustrating than when somebody doesn't like something. I'm not saying Sydney does this all the time, but when they don't like it and you're like, well, what do you want? I don't know, but not that.
Right. No, I mean, I hear it's like even when it comes to like, let's go out to dinner or something, right? When you ask the significant other, like, hey, you want to eat? Where do you want to go? Oh, let's go do this. No, I don't want to do that. What do you want to do? I don't know. And then you sit there and you're like, we just talked about this for like an hour. So what's the point of even going out now?
I always pick where we eat. If we waited for Sydney to decide, we'd never eat.
He's picky.
So I just,
that's how it is, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love the fact that you guys can kind of do this together. I'm sure at the same time, it's rewarding for you guys to be doing it together as well. And what's nice too is, Christian, you've got a good following, so like you can be the marketing guy as well for it, and I think that's helpful as well. Like, it's not like you guys just started out with like nobody knowing who you are. It was a nice transition from what he's currently doing into this kind of thing, because it's all movie related or horror related, and I think it really just helps out. And all of us with the collector's mindsets, it's like you've got a great, foundation of an audience like right there.
It's all, when we first launched, I was terrified because it was a perfect storm. When we decided we were going to do it, we actually, I don't know if Sydney's mentioned this, but we were going to do this 2 years ago and we got cold feet. Our whole kitchen table was full of wax jars, the whole thing. And we were working on candles and stuff like that. We didn't do wax melts, if I recall. I think it was mostly candles. But we got cold feet. And then finally, life kind of gave us this perfect storm. And it was a situation to where Sydney was going to just drop everything and put 100% into this. Because this is like Sydney's job now. And when I remember I got home from work and then we were launching our first launch, I promoted it. I Billy Maysed it as best I could. Mm-hmm. And when I woke up around lunchtime that day, I came out in the kitchen and Sydney's got a bunch of shipping bags. She's putting stuff up. I said, well, how are we doing? She says, we're selling out. And, I was happy the first time, but I remember telling Sydney, I was like, I'm not jaded. I know that a lot of my friends and stuff, they're trying out the wax melts, but you don't just keep buying something because you want to support CHH or me and Sydney. Our stuff smells really good. I can tell you, if you go to the store and grab anything that's remotely the same scent to ours, our stuff lasts longer. It's no contest. The stuff that Sydney's making, I don't make it. I'm just that, like I said, I'm the Billy Mays guy. I promote it and stuff. But ask anybody that's consistently buying our stuff. You don't just keep buying it just for the hell of it. They keep buying it because they last, they smell good, and the pack. It's just a lot more fun, and people are willing to spend an extra $1 or $2 to get a pumpkin spice like you have that's got Michael Myers on it and it's themed and it goes with your room. And so it was a lot of hard work, and we're consistently trying to improve on stuff, getting labels that are glossy as opposed to just flat labels, and getting the packaging.
Learning as we're going.
Yeah,
right.
Every time we launch, we try to how can we improve this next time? How do we make this better? When can we list everything to where we can have it shipping out like that? Because as a physical media collector and horror collector, everybody in the chat right now knows the faster you get something shipped out, the better. So I dare say we're some of the best at getting stuff shipped out. When you order it within 48 hours, within a few hours, you've got your shipping notice already. So when we launch, it's a planned thing. We said we're going to launch this, and we're going to have the order shipped out, boom, by this time. So, we try to make I don't want this to be just me talking, but we try to make every time we do a launch, how can we make this to where everybody that bought from us says, I'm so glad I bought that, as opposed to just going to Walmart and getting a couple and just bringing them home, because this is so much more of a better experience. We're trying to give you people stickers and candies, which I'm sure you've ordered from us, so you probably notice you'll get a candy and a little thank you card. So we try to make sure every time people order from us, they say, oh, this is why I'm glad I'm doing this, as opposed to just getting getting the stuff from the store. This is a much more personal, more fun experience. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's what sets small businesses apart from the major chains as well, is that it's like you said, it's that more personal touch. And touching on a few points that you guys said, and I back it up 100%. Number one, you said the perfect storm. You guys had cold feet for a while. Things just kind of came together, and you said it's either now or never. And she kind of put her foot down and said, "Hey, we're going to start." And that just goes to show, I think, with a lot of people when it comes to anything in life, is that things are always scary. Change is always scary. Even with me and the YouTube channel, I mean, man, I wanted to do this channel. I wanted to start this channel like 2010, maybe 2009, right? But there was always reasons that I didn't do it, right? It was always, and I think at the end of the day, it was cold feet, right? Like it was. But I always had excuses on why I couldn't fit it in, or I didn't have time, or I never had equipment, or blah, blah, blah. But I mean, man, I look back now and I'm like, I wish I would have started back then. But I do think, the time was kind of right when it happened, and I'm very happy with where it's gone. And kind of the same thing for anything in life, right? Like if you just got to put 100% in, and if you're passionate about something, like it's gonna pan out, I think, for the best. And another thing you touched upon is you're right. Like your stuff, I've had some of the same melts in there because every time it's like part of a ritual now with me. When I do a show, I take the lights down, put the neons on, turn on my wax melter over there. Like it's just part of like the whole aura of like what I do. It's just part of my routine now. And I remember talking to you when you first launched, and I'm like, I've never tried a wax melt in my life. Like I had never even attempted that. I used to have candles burning in my old movie room, pumpkin spice candles year round. But after I moved away and started taking things off the wall, I noticed like all black all over the walls and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not doing the candles stuff down in my new area. But Christian was like, oh, the wax melts. But the wax melts don't give you any of that smoke or anything like that, really. So it's been a wonder for me. And when he got me hooked on it, it's just like, I just love it. Like it's a lot easier for me as far as maintenance and all that other stuff too. So, and like you said, your stuff lasts a while. Like I've had the same melt in there for like three shows already, but I haven't cleaned it out and I can still smell it now. So your stuff does last as well. And I wouldn't ever go to Walmart and stuff to get it because like you said, if you can get a pumpkin spice wax melt or a pumpkin spice wax melt with a picture of Michael Myers on it, which one would you do? You know what I'm saying? Like from that aspect of it, it's like, I'm not just going to have, you want a pumpkin or Michael Myers? Like,
yeah.
So I think it's really, really cool what you guys are doing. Now, what I like that you were saying is that you're always kind of evolving. You're learning as you go. You're changing things up. It could be, like you said, like different stickers, like maybe something with a little more gloss, like, which is huge because that's the best way to go. And I also see that you also, went from just the wax melts to other things. Like I have this little Cochrane candle here. So this is another option that you guys have is sometimes you release some of the candles. Other times, I think you've even released larger candles now in the same vein as this. So not only you went from like the wax melts to smaller candles, but now you're doing larger candles and changing up how they look. Like, is there anything else right now that you're looking and saying, okay, this is good, let's ride this wave for a little bit? Or is there anything in that you're like, I wonder if we try this, how that would go?
Christian keeps wanting to go into like soaps and stuff like that. Just kind of maybe do one of those every now and then. So we're trying to like just kind of play around with that right now. Eventually, maybe we'll put some out just to see how they do. And I mean, with the candles and everything, the sizes, we like to ask, our followers, what they prefer. That way we're not putting something out that people aren't going to like. So we like to get feedback from people, which we love that. And we just try to evolve, not necessarily of just stuff that we see that we can improve on, but what other people kind of say that we could improve on as well.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys gotten any of that kind of feedback with people saying where they think you could improve? Because again, I'm not a connoisseur when it comes to any of this stuff. So to me, this is all like, I'm a rookie. So everything I put in, I'm like, oh, it smells great. It works. I'm fine. But if I was somebody who had these for years and years, then maybe I would have an opinion on that kind of stuff. So is there anything that you've heard about like, oh, you could do this to make it better or anything like that?
If you don't mind. A lot of this stuff, we realize it for ourselves on how to improve stuff. One of the things we learned when Sydney would pour everything, sometimes when they would, like when she pours the wax into the containers, sometimes they'll be rough on top. And then when you open up, you want it to be nice and smooth and just clean looking, like the wax I'm talking about. So we had to get, there was no telling what causes the surface to get all rough and bubbly looking. So we had to get a wax gun or a heat gun thing. Mm-hmm. And basically after you pour it, we had to melt it down a little bit more and to smoothen it out. So we knew like, okay, we got to make the presentation better. And again, if anybody has any of the packaging from our very first run, super primitive because we just learned about labels, printing labels, how to print labels, and our art was very, very, very basic because we didn't know how far we can push it in terms of what artwork we could use and logos and things like this. And another thing, honestly, when it comes to like the feedback from people, the money talks. So if something sells well, we know that people like it. The Big Apple, the Jason Takes Manhattan scent we did. It's probably the most popular thing we ever did. Now, I can imagine a lot of people at first were like, Jason Takes Manhattan, hell yeah, let me get that. It's a damn good scent. It's like a apple cinnamon, and people get it, and then they use it, and they say, holy, like this is so nice, because it's one of those fragrances that's like easy to breathe in. It's like not a real thick scent, and people love it. So money talks. You know, you can put out new movies, and it's like, oh, cool. We got this going on. Like we did Nightmare on Elm Street. We did popcorn for Dream Master. I think some people are like, you know what? That's cool, but I don't think I want to be smelling popcorn the whole time in here. So, I mean, a lot of times it's the scents, and that's the other thing. It's like you can't just slap a popular movie. You got to have good scent. So we try to go out of our way to make sure whatever we use, we try to match the movie in a sense, no pun intended, and then also just try to get scents that are comfortable, because if it's something you're melting in the room while you're watching movies and stuff, you don't want to be smelling popcorn for, you know, so we probably won't be doing that one again, like popcorn. If we do a Dream Master, we'll change the scent.
Yes. I mean, it is interesting though, because you look at that, and if it becomes like people using it as collectors things, right? Then to be like, I have the Dream Masters popcorn scent, which is now discontinued, right? Like it's kind of a cool thing at the same time. And even if you guys did just random exclusives, like very limited to 10 of like something just totally out of the box that you're like, people are going to hate this scent, but because it's so limited, right? Like suppose you did like Silent Night, Dead in the Night 2 Garbage Day, and it smelled like garbage. Like, you know, people aren't going to want to smell that, but at the same time, they might be like, well, I'm going to grab it because there was only 10 of these available, and that's never going to come out again, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, people will message me, and 9 out of 10 times it's people that never bought one or probably wouldn't buy one. Not that it's a problem. But they'll say, you know, oh, you should do, for instance, you shouldn't do a garbage day when it make it smell like garbage. I'm like, that's funny, except I want people to buy them and like use them.
It's a tough thing, because a part of it is like people would buy it out of just how funny it is, but at the same time, like you said, it could be a big flop, and that's a big waste of time on your part and all this other stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a fine line. It's like, it's fun to be cute about stuff like that, but it's like, it's a business, and like we want our stuff to smell good. We want it to look good, and we try experimenting. One of the lines that we did that was really good, I thought they came out awesome. We got clear labels when we did the Hellraisers, and the truth is, I got clear labels on accident. Sydney sent me off to go get some labels because we ran out, and I got clear labels for the Hellraisers, which those came out great, because I told Sydney, make them look like the box if you can. So if anybody in the chat has those, the Hellraiser ones were kind of like this black and gold kind of swirl look, and they resembled the Lament configuration. But those smelled so good, and the packaging on those were really regal and formal looking, and had this. They look great. So, you know, those we probably have to bring back sooner rather than later, because those Hellraiser ones were really cool. So, I don't know. We're always, like I said, and even some of the stuff that we have done a couple times, even if it's a good scent, like for instance, always check your candy. That's a pretty popular one. That's based off of Trick or Treat. Cindy said, hey, I've got the scents to do those on the Leprechaun runs. Do you want to release those again? I was like, yeah, but let me update the art of that again. That way, for the people that might buy it often, I can give them something new. So they got new artwork. So I changed the look of that one. So, yeah,
I'm just trying to look here and see like some of the older ones and the new ones I have still around. So for instance, I don't know how old this was. It could have been one of your first ones, but you can just tell the difference on the logos. Like I have this Dracula one right here, which is just like a outline of like a Dracula. I don't know if that's still the image, but then you go into this one. It's like a full image of Arnie and all that other stuff of Jingle All the Way, right? So it's like you can even just tell between now and then how much different you've gotten with the packaging and stuff.
Yeah, part of that was me breaking Sydney down. She's like, well, I don't want to get in trouble. I was like, sue us. Remember Rocky V? Sue me for what? You know, what is 20th Century Fox going to do? Take 50 cents from me? You know, because I used a picture of Arnold on one of those melts. It's like, we're making the melts. I'm not selling Jingle All the Way on VHS. We're making the melts. We're packaging the melts. We're paying for all that. We're putting a cartoon Arnold on it and calling it Ginger All the Way. So
I mean, it's a tie. I get what she's saying, but at the same time, I do get what she's saying because you always want to kind of watch your butts and not be doing anything that you shouldn't be doing. But man, you look around at all these companies on Etsy or even people that you see on Instagram and stuff, like there's no way that every single person that's doing anything with all these characters and stuff are all getting like written permissions. There's no way that's happening. You know what I mean? Like even people like I'm in commission artworks with posters and stuff. Do you think all these guys that are doing all these posters are contacting Arnold to get his permission to like put him on a poster? Like it's not happening. You know what I mean? It's just not.
Right.
So it is a fine line. I don't know the legalities of it, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I just don't think people really, ask questions about it. And there's there's a lot bigger, fish in the pond than a couple 30 wax melts or whatever.
Yeah.
So it is interesting for sure. Now with, I haven't been keeping updated. Like I said, I've been kind of under the weather the last couple of days. Did you already launch or are you launching a St. Patrick's Day line?
We already did.
Was it the Leprechaun one?
Yes.
I did see him post that. I didn't know if it already went or not. Like I said, I say this to him all the time. I always miss when things drop. So that's already come and gone.
Yeah, we wanted to try and get some of these out before the holidays. That way people can enjoy them on the holidays instead of buying them the day of. We figured it would be kind of better.
So like when I ordered the Scream bucket from Cinemark and it said it won't be here till June, like it really just doesn't do me any good at this point.
Exactly. Who's watching Scream movies in the summer?
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, well, I guess I'll have to wait till Scream 7 to eat my popcorn out of this thing. But you did make a real good point too, is guys, I'm no joke. The shipping is fast, real fast with what you guys do. It's not Kenny level shipping over here. It's like legit. Like it's there. And like, I think it got to me in like 2 days.
It's fast.
So, that's another thing too. Like they said, if they dropped that, I don't know when they dropped it, but even if they dropped Leprechaun on like a Tuesday, I bet you'd have it by Friday, but they obviously did it already. So they still got a lot of time. So those things are already out to the people.
Yeah. Do we have any?
I think we sold out.
Okay. I think we're sold out, but I was going to say, always go to UNEEDACandles.com. But yeah, we already got some posts from people. They got their leprechauns and that Irish Spring, that's just like that's the kind of body wash I use. All dudes use Irish Spring. So I was super excited just to make that Irish, because I love the scent of Irish Spring. So I was super excited about the leprechauns. They came out good too.
And gang, the link to the store is in the description as well. So if you click on it, you can go check it out. I'm not sure what's still in stock and what's not, but it's definitely I think there was some stuff. I looked today. I think there was some stuff in there. But the link is in the description for that. And Kenny Level's in the house and he says the UNEEDA Candles, they're rad AF. They sure are. And Phantaz Matt has a question in here. He says, what does the type of warmer matter on your recommendations? I don't know. The one I got I really like, but it's like a skull. So I kind of thought it just fit really well down here. So I know you can get like horror themed ones and stuff like that. But do you guys have any recommendations on what you like?
Just as long as it is approved. Like some people like the type of warmers where you could put candles on and you can put your own little like jar on top of it and put the wax melts in. But then, we prefer the ones that have like the light bulbs, because if you accidentally leave them on, it's not a big deal. That's the problem that we've had in the past, where you light a candle, you leave, and you forget that it's lit. So that's why we prefer wax melts. That way, if you leave it, it's not like your house isn't going to burn down.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like I said, why I really love this thing too is mine's the light bulb as well. And like you said, with the candles, if you got to remember to turn them off or not even remember, like, yeah. And even like still, sometimes you blow those candles out and the smoke will like last in there for like a while through the air. These things are nice and easy. Just flip the switch and it's done. So, Michigan Dipper hasn't put the Leprechaun ones in yet, but so what do you guys have coming up? Anything, you mentioned possibility of maybe someday doing soaps. Is there any lines that you guys are looking forward to as we kind of roll into the spring?
Friday we're gonna do the Evil Deads, and Blair Witch.
We're doing the only Evil Deads that count. We're doing 1, 2, and 3.
Wow.
Take that 2013 crap. And, no, actually, I like that movie. Sydney likes that movie too. No,
it's a good one. I like it.
We're just we're doing Evil Dead 1, 2, and 3.
You're doing the Bruce Campbell trilogy.
We're doing the best ones. We're doing the Bruce Campbell ones.
Yeah.
And Prince of Darkness. I'm super excited because, like, I was telling Sydney, I was like, I want to do another John Carpenter, but I'm still burnt out on Halloween. I don't want to talk about Halloween, Nick. But I'm super excited about doing Prince of Darkness is one of my favorite movies. And as I said, we got to do a black and green Prince of Darkness wax melt and just have a really nice scent for it. So that's coming Friday too, is Prince of Darkness. So I'm super excited about that. And the Evil Deads. And the Evil Deads look great. It's got the exact kind of art people are going to want on them. The colors are exactly what they're going to want, and they all smell great. And it actually worked out because what's on everybody's mind now that Scream is over, they're thinking about Evil Dead Rise.
Right.
So now you can smell some Evil Dead and get ready for what's probably going to be a bad Evil Dead movie.
Do you think so?
No,
I think. I was going to say. I thought the first trailer I was like, but then I saw another one. I'm like, okay, this does look like it's going to be pretty promising.
I trust, as long as Sam and Bruce are producing, I trust them with my life. So
I agree. I was Mel brought it up the other day on the Rad Pack show about franchises that she feels are like one of the best, and she brought up Evil Dead, and I was like, you know what, like it really hasn't been a bad movie in that whole franchise at all, and even the show itself was pretty damn good. Like, so I guess when you do have Raimi behind it, it's like he does a really good job with those movies. And even the other one he did, that's like, what was the other one he did? It was still really, really good. What's that other one he did? Drag Me to Hell. I thought that was really well done as well.
Drag Me to Hell, Dark Man. He's the best. Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that for sure. Now, I'm going to go to the chat really quick, but I was kind of already scrolling through. Jamie Hart's in the house. What is going on, Jamie? So hopefully we answered that question, Matt, that you were asking about. She recommended the light is probably the best. It's the safest way to go. Let me see what else we got in here. Bren wants some ghost face melts.
We did it. We did a Scream line a while back, and they did good. But what we did was we put out a Stu, Billy, Sydney, Casey, Melt, and I believe
Randy as well.
And Randy. I think Billy might have sold, because they all had good sense, but I knew that whoever's the most popular was going to sell first. I think Stu or Billy were the first ones to go.
Actually, it might have been Casey.
Maybe it was. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was. But we'll probably do something Scream. If we would have the foresight to have thrown something together for the new movie, we would have. But we've been busy, so getting stuff ready, because we planned the whole year. We had stuff planned for the month. So some of the stuff that people always ask about, Child's Play, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Believe me, we're rolling out the red carpet for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. People are going to lose their shit when they see the next generation wax melts. And you're damn right, we're doing a next generation wax melt. I mean, this ain't a game, you know. I'm not just doing part one. So all that stuff is going to be coming. Like, we're going to be doing a lot of the biggest stuff you could think of this year in terms of movies. So it's going to be great. I'm really excited.
Well, what's nice is you can do a lot of the new stuff like you guys have planned, but then if you over in a point where you're like, okay, like what are we going to do? You can be like, hey, you know what? Let's do a small run of like some of the popular ones that haven't been around in a while. Like you can always go back as much as you can go forward. So, and you can even make it so, you know, like if people are collecting these, you could even make it so you could be like, well, you know what? These ones sold out. Whoever got them. I'm going to make a little small change on the logo or on the picture just to set it apart from maybe like the first run or something like that. Like there's always so much you can do. And I just love the idea of that, because I'm sure there's probably people out there that have almost like every one. I'm sure of it.
Well, we have at least a couple people that buy it every time.
That is so awesome. I mean, that is huge. And again, like, I don't even know, who knows? They might not even be using these things. They might buy two and be like, I'm going to use one, keep the other one. Like, I mean, you know, it's like, that's how collectors' mindsets work. And like I said before, like people could look at these like Funko Pops in a way, and these things they're displayed in my room because, like you said, the theme is there, right? So it makes sense to be, instead of in a drawer, they're like on the top of a table or whatever.
And that's
So
fine.
really cool. Yeah.
It's fine. You can play what is that game? Plinko? Not Plinko. What is it called? Jenga. You can play Jenga with these. I don't care. I always tell Sydney, I was like, I'll sell it to Satan himself. If they buy it, I don't care. And you do whatever you want with them. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people might be eating these things for all you know. You don't know.
I hope not.
They look good though.
Labels on them, so they do that at their own risk.
It's like candy. Look at that.
Yeah,
it's real good.
Yeah, and that was another thing that we made sure. You know, that's all Sydney. Like I said, because she makes them. I was like, how can we make this better than when people just go to the store to get them? And I was like, you got to make them look cool. So that's why we try to, you know, and it's a tedious process because she'll have to pour one color, let it literally wait and let it dry, then do the rest to try to get that pattern. Because now you can't mix those two colors together. Otherwise, it just turns into a blend of whatever those two colors are. So when she did the Freddy's Revenge ones,
those took forever.
because that's, you know, the gay Nightmare on Elm Street film. So I was like, we got to make them rainbow colored. And it took her a long time because she had to do individual, you know, in those cases, they've got the little, you know, the way it packages, they got the little feet, the little squares. So she had to pour green, red. It was tedious, very tedious.
I'm impressed because, like I said before, I wouldn't even know where to start. Now, is this something that you had played with, like growing up? Like I remember in school, like I think in like chemistry or something in like high school or middle school, we had to make candles and soap and all that other stuff, like, you know, as projects. But I wouldn't even know where to start as far as like the wax, and then do you add, you know, the scent in there, and then, like you said, to get the colors all mixed in, you have to do that singular, right? Like one, and then divide it, and then the other one, and then it kind of all seeps together.
It depends on the design, but essentially I have wax and I figured out what type of wax that I prefer to use. We use soy wax. It's supposed to burn cleaner, so you're not going to get like that black on your walls that like paraffin wax might. So we decided to use that because it's, you know, like supposed to be safer. And then you take the wax, I use a double boiler, but you have to get it to a certain temperature before you put in your fragrance. And we buy the fragrance or like we mix them up. It just depends on, you know, what we're doing. And then after you do that, you got to wait for it to get to another temperature before you can pour it into the little molds. So it's like a tedious little process, but you know, we get there. But as far as how I learned how to do this, we just kind of, when we decided that this was something we wanted to do, I just started looking it up online and trying to figure out as much as I could to make sure that these would look nice. And I think it took like a good 6 months of playing around until I was happy with what we were putting out, because the first time we did it was just awful. And then we finally got to a point where we felt confident enough to be able to sell them. So it took a bit.
I bet. I mean, do you feel like now you've got a pretty good grasp on it where you kind of can go through it pretty quickly and diligently now? Or do you still feel like there's times where you're messing with different colors where you're like, this is just not working?
I mean,
she'll get pissed off sometimes because
for the most part, everything works out and it's good. But every now and then I have a batch that just does not come out right. And it's just, it's a little aggravating because, I mean, it's product. You don't want to just waste it. But, you know.
So you guys keep all that bad product for yourselves and just burn it out over at the house, or what? You're not destroying it all, are you?
No, we'll use it sometimes for us or give it to friends and family, or we'll just try and repurpose it. Maybe it didn't come out how we wanted it, but it still looks okay. We'll just try and figure out what can we use this for instead of what we had initially planned. So sometimes we just have to be flexible and just kind of flip around on our plans.
Now, another thing I wanted to know too, like, let's say you're going to do a launch on Friday coming up, this like in a couple days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that process for you look like? If you say, okay, we're launching on Friday, when do you start this like getting ready for this? Like, is this become like Monday, you're working all day and just getting it ready like all through the week? Like, how many days does it take you to get ready for a launch on something?
Usually we have like we said, we have like a set thing of what we want to hit each month, like what kind of thing we're trying to theme it out. So we already know what we want to do for that month. So then we start trying to think of what we need to how we want to color them, what supplies we need, and then I'll order all that. And then usually the week before we launch is when I'll make everything, make sure it looks right. We'll get the designs done, and then the week of is when we start trying to promote them on socials.
Yeah, because this being your full-time gig now, do you feel like you're putting in like a lot of man hours, like to get all this stuff set up? Are you launching? What's your schedule like every 2 weeks or so? Twice a month, you think?
I think we're doing it like every couple of weeks right now.
Yeah.
And then maybe like sometimes I'll if we have like a little bit of wiggle room, then I'll do some restocks of things that were popular in the past.
Well, that's cool, because do you still have some stuff like left over as far as material that you'd be okay, well, I still have all this, we can probably throw something up instead of me having to order it again?
Occasionally. It's just really about the scents, like if we have any left over, because we don't want to change up, a scent that we had for something else. If somebody wants to buy it again, you want it to smell the same. So it just really depends on that. Everything else, I just kind of order on the regular to make sure we have it in stock. That way we can make melts when we need to.
Yeah, and then even Christian, like, I mean, I can imagine, like, you're a pretty busy guy. You work, you're doing your show, you've got the podcast, you got a lot going on. So when there's days that you come home or whatever, and it's like, hey, we need stickers for X, Y, and Z, like that's still another whole thing that you've got to make time for, right?
Yeah, sometimes we're not really good about making sure we have labels and ink in the printer. The ink is the biggest pain in the ass. We go through ink so much in the printer because we're using a lot of colors. Like I bet you that those ginger all the ways probably sucked up most of the color in the ink cartridges we got for just six melts. So that's where a lot of our cost goes too, is the ink, as we go through that a lot. So like sometimes we have to rush order ink. We'll try to get it online because you can get it a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like right now, for instance, we got to do a rush order to get ink ready for Friday, and get stuff like that. Because sometimes they'll just, man, it's crazy how fast that goes out. And City was trying to find a distributor in Texas to get all of our stuff. And every now and again, it'll just like, we'll have to push something back a week because like you order it and it's just like, damn, we're not, for some reason, the big bags of wax, they don't show up for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days after they were supposed to. So I don't know. We try to stay ahead of the curve on the wax.
Right.
So we bought a big trash can and we keep it right over here. And that's where we pour the wax in and we keep it filled. We try to keep that thing filled up with wax. So we have that situated. So in terms of wax and scents and ink is the biggest pain in the ass. We're usually pretty good on the cases for the melts, but it's the ink and the whatever I just said. It's
wax,
just just planning.
Now, do you guys have to make sure that you before you even announce a launch, you've got to make sure everything is there and ready to go before you even talk about it? Yeah, knowing that like.
Mm-hmm. We try to make sure everything is like everything we need is in stock. Every now and then, like in the past, we've had some issues with that, but that was just because when we started this, we didn't anticipate ever having this amount of people buying things. We didn't anticipate everything selling out as much as it has. So we kind of were unprepared at first, and then over the course of the months, we've been able to plan, get things in stock, figure out where to buy things from, how long everything takes to get here, and just kind of plan better. We've definitely gotten better this year. That's why at the end of last year, we took a couple of weeks to not do anything but try and figure out what we're going to do for the new year to make sure everything was running way smoother than it has been, which it has this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everything's been good so far this year. Whenever we do a launch too, I always tell Sydney, one good thing about Etsy is we can see a first-time customer. If you're a repeat customer, you'll get a star on your paper when we print out your paperwork. Because we started doing this thing. Sometimes whenever you order something, the people you buy it from, whatever your sheet is, that's like, it's not your receipt, but it's like the piece of paper that shows what you ordered and stuff. A lot of time we started putting that in with the orders just so people know, hey, this is what it says you ordered. This is what we we send to you. But I always try to say, hey, how many new customers did we get on this launch? And that's the good thing is we've consistently, every time we put something out, we'll get at least 1 or 2 new customers. And we're getting more girls too, which is important to me because I know that women love wax melts too. And that also goes to, like, it's not that I don't want the guy, because I always want Sydney. I think it's a good thing where it's not just like, oh, some of the people that watch my YouTube channel are just getting these. So it's nice when we get new faces, and when I see we got new women that are getting them, that's always like a plus.
Of course,
that means that there are new customers that, you know. So it's going good. Everything's going good.
That's huge, man. Now I'm gonna back to the chat because there's some stuff in here. Someone says you should. Akeem says you should do Puppet Master. Have you tackled Puppet Master yet?
I think it's coming this year for sure.
Perfect. Justin's in here, taking a little editing break. What's up, dudes? Loves his UNEEDA melts. Well, I hope Justin's editing the Rad Pack podcast over there. I hope that's what he's doing.
He better be.
Jesus. Let me see. We got Jamie Hart says she loves the little note and the treat that you put inside each individual package. Yes, that's always, again, like you said, it's a nice touch that you're not getting if you buy regularly from a store.
Exactly.
What's interesting too is, like, because I talked about you guys shipping quick, man, Etsy's tough when it comes to shipping. I feel like I buy from Etsy and I don't get it for months sometimes. Like I ordered something, I think 3 months ago, and it's still not here. I'm at a point where I'm almost like, should I like figure out where this thing is? If it's even like, I don't know if it was like a made to order type deal that I did and I didn't read like the fine print or something, but it was an expensive item I ordered, and it's just like, I haven't heard anything. It's been about 3 months and this thing is just, I haven't gotten any kind of like notice or anything on it. So it's an interesting thing over there because they're even t-shirts sometimes will take like a month or so to get to me. So for you guys to go so quick on that stuff, it's nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you take a while to ship something. That's the number one thing that would make me want to stop buying from somebody.
People are so used to Amazon, so we try to like keep
Amazon
up
spoiled everybody.
Yeah,
it's true. I mean, it is true. Like, I mean, now that you guys are talking about it, I like just remember that I ordered something and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I ordered that thing and it was not cheap either. So yeah, it's definitely wild. Now, JS makes a good point. I think I've talked about this with you before. You need a warmer. I mean, he's dust off the soldering skills from back in the day at the metal shop. I mean, that would be cool, but I mean, I don't even know what that would entail, right?
I have a dream. I've told Sydney about this, and I'm going to make it a reality. It probably won't be cheap. They'll probably be 60, 70, maybe even like $80. I want to find someone to help me create a trioxin barrel that says UNEEDA Candles on it, and it has the little glass door on the front. And you're either going to see a zombie head in there or not, but I'm going to have the light bulb is going to go in the middle of the barrel. And then you put your wax on top. So I want to recreate a 245 trioxin barrel, military barrel, as a wax warmer, branded UNEEDA Candles on it.
That's awesome.
That's my goal, to make that a thing. Make it a limit. Make 10 of them. When I make them, they go out. Whoever gets it gets it. But that's my goal. But I got to figure out how to do that. I don't know if that's a 3D printing thing, if it'd be made out of porcelain. I'd imagine it'd be made out of some glass. I've got a buddy that does 3D printing, and he actually says he can look into that for me. But that's a goal. I told Sydney I've got to make a trioxin barrel.
That'd be huge, man. That's no small feat either. So that's a big thing for sure. Yeah. Brent must be a repeating customer because he says he uses his scents, but he also displays them on the shelf.
And we love you, Brent. Thank you.
Let me see. Deadpit says CHH dressed like a real country boy tonight. He is. Look at him. It's like a Brock Lesnar look, or like I told him before we came on, maybe he should undo one strap and kind of go for that like Joey Lawrence 90s look, or Kid and Play or something like that.
I may not sound as country as Wes, but dude, I'm in North Louisiana.
You know what's funny is, and I don't know if Sydney can agree or anything like that, but I came across not too long ago, and I'm surprised I had never seen this, and maybe I did a long time ago because, you know, before I got into YouTube, I was following a lot of different people you weren't one I was following. I met you kind of when I started, but I came across your video with the Chucky doll. Now, I could have come across that video years and years ago and never put a face to the name or whatever, because I was always looking for different Chucky dolls because I wanted one so bad. But recently, within the last 6 months, it popped up on my feed like this Chucky doll that you had. And it was like an early video. I don't even know what year that was that you would have posted that. But you don't even sound the same at all, I feel like, from that video till now. Like, it almost feels like you lost your accent in a sense. Do you feel that way?
I'm a victim of my environment. So I was working, that was probably 2014 or 2015. I was working in the oil field. So I was with the reddest of rednecks. And that's how they talked. Now I've developed, it's a Cajun accent, but it gets mistaken for like a New York accent.
His accent was thicker whenever we first met because his family's from New Orleans, so it was very, very New Orleans-y.
Yeah.
But now it's more neutral.
It's more neutral, but my vowels, like you'll hear, like I got this from my grandma, and my friend, the guys at work, they'll say, "Do what? What kind of pizza you talking about?" Because they'll say, "Hey, y'all want to go to Papa John's?" And I'm just like, "I love Papa John's," because I say John. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's how my grandma says it. She's Cajun as anything. So now I've got like the Cajun accent, but it's like it's my vowel sounds most of the time.
It's wild to me just because, you know, I never been in a situation where I feel like the way I speak has changed. And just watching that video and listening to you on a regular basis now, I'm like, wow, like he really does sound like a different person. And like she said, you have lost that accent, and it's just like you said, it's a product of your environment. But that's just wild to me that being around a specific people for so long, all of a sudden now your voice starts changing and stuff. It's wild to me.
But I didn't realize it. If I go back and listen to that, I'd probably be like, whoa, but that's all I heard. I mean, I was never home either. I mean, I spent 16-hour days with those guys. They were my family. So I just started. Yeah, that's what happened to me.
So do you think that did you talk more like this, then went to that, and then back to this, or did you have more of an accent your whole life and then kind of lost it a little bit more now?
You've lost it.
Lost a little bit.
Was there ever times where Sydney looked at you and said, "Why are you talking like that?" Like when it started kind of changing?
No, I mean, when we first met, I couldn't understand him or his family because they all had that really thick New Orleans accent, and they talk so fast and it's hard to catch on, but like it's mellowed out, so which is great for me.
It's mellowed out or she's used to it, one of the two. Like one of the things that like makes me cringe, and like my grandma gets pissed off if anybody pronounces New Orleans in like 3 syllables, like New Orleans, like you'll get slapped. Like it's New Orleans. It's really Nawlins.
New Orleans?
New Orleans.
So I can't say New Orleans. You don't like that?
That's ridiculous. Like that's ridiculous.
Because I think that's how I would say it.
That's how. Yeah, I think because that's how it looks when you look at the word.
That is so.
But
funny.
It's New Orleans. Yeah,
New Orleans. Movie Watch Daily wants this is pretty cool, and he wants a Poultry Guy's chicken and waffles scent. What do you think of that?
See that would probably. I know he's probably being silly a little bit, but
no, he loves that movie. He loves that movie.
Well, I was talking like the scent. That probably would not be that bad. I would leverage it more to waffles.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like
you want your house smells like chicken.
Like if I made a Captain Spaulding, matter of fact, somebody said you should do Captain Spaulding and make it smell like fried chicken. I'm like, that'd be funny for about 2 minutes.
We get enchiladas a lot too.
Oh yeah, when we did not Nightmare, Friday the 13th Live.
Yeah.
That's Piz's favorite scent. Piz fell in love with the fresh linen, and some people didn't get it. I was like, "What are you talking about? You remember when they're hanging up the clothes?
Oh yeah.
It's fresh linen." And they were like, "Why don't you make it smell like enchiladas?" I was like, "Because I want you to use them." You gotta use it, and it's gonna be funny for a minute. I know it. It'll if you make it smell like enchiladas, it'll be funny for a minute, and then you're gonna be like, take this shit off the wax burner now.
Yeah, but imagine walking into the house and feeling like you're at Taco Bell. Like, I mean, that might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, but then you're hungry and you look around like, where's the enchiladas at? You know?
Well, I mean, the chicken and waffles, you could always call it chicken and waffles, but like it really
smell
smelled like
like-
maple syrup or something, you know?
Right.
So that would be not a bad idea. Phantasm Matt says 6-shooter melts. And
We'll run a game on those.
could be leather and tobacco or something.
You see what I'm saying? It's like they all mean well. Actually, that's not honestly the leather.
Leather might be all right.
We've done leather. The leather's actually like a really nice fragrance. So.
Yeah, leather would not be bad for sure. But you're right. Like it is funny because and like you make a good point. It'd be funny for 2 seconds, but from a collector person, maybe make those little oddball ones like 10 of them or something. Like really short run.
You got to use it. You could just pop it open and smell it like whoa,
and put it in your collection. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd want to do something rancid. If I'm going to do something that's like not like, hey, this is a gag. It's gonna be. I want to do something like I'd have to think of it, but I'd want to do something really out there.
Now, are you sticking to at this point? Obviously, just right now, movies only type of thing, or do you ever branch out? Well, I know you did Ninja Turtles. You did the cartoon.
We ain't doing that again either.
Oh no, why?
Viacom shut us down.
Are you kidding?
No.
Yeah.
That was your first slap on the wrist right there?
Yep, man. I mean, I guess we're just gonna stick to horror for a while.
Well, we did some research, and Viacom they're very protective of Ninja Turtles. Naturally, still a probably billion-dollar property in today's market. So they got wind of that.
But it's so funny though. Like it's almost like in one aspect you're like, ah, shit, okay, or the next aspect you look and be like, okay, so how did we get on Viacom's radar? It's not necessarily a bad thing, right? When you look at from like how could that have even got to that point?
I don't know, but you're right, but you don't want it to happen because then you feel paranoid about every single thing you do.
That's true. I was gonna say, I don't know if you ever collected He-Man when you were a kid. You were probably a little too young for that, right?
I've got I've got a Skeletor and some figures, but I've always wanted the Crystal Skull.
Oh, the Castle Grayskull?
But Castle Gray, not Crystal Skull.
Yeah, that's a great piece. Well, growing up, you always there was one skunk guy called Stinkor, and it was like it was supposed to be like he was really smelly. I think the scent was like patchouli oil. Is that how you say it? Something like that. That was the scent I think that he was, but it was supposed to be a bad skunk smell. And as a kid, you open that package and it was really strong, and he would you could smell him like in your toy box for years. And that scent has always stuck with me like forever. And every time I get a whiff of that wherever, I'm like, oh my God, that smells like that skunk figure or whatever. So that's why I was like, man, it's such an easy scent, but I don't know how easy it would be to make like a limited Stinkor scent and have just that in it, because that was like the smell that dude was. And it's just, and anybody in the chat that knows what I'm talking about, you'll never forget that scent in your whole life. And it's just kind of wild. And that's why I was kind of asking if you'd ever go, because it's just it'd be an easy do, right? For that.
Yeah. She told me that website where she gets the scents, like they virtually have anything. I want to bottle like the video store smell, and I can't really tell you what it is, like carpet or something. We've talked about doing something like you said, like it's just limited, and I want to make it really something really cool. As a matter of fact, talking about getting out of movies, that's something I wanted to do. I wanted to do the rental store, and I also thought about maybe getting a little bit more specific and having the action section melt and then like the cartoon section melt, and obviously the colors would kind of represent more so of those. The scents could be fun things like cotton candy or I don't know, root beer. If they make a root beer scent, that might be pretty good. But that's an idea I told her about the other night. I want to do like nostalgic things, like the like the video store or the movie theater. That'd be stuff like that. I gotta.
Well, what's nice is I know we've talked about it before, but she also is really into like the old school like food and stuff. You have the pictures all over the wall from different ads and stuff like that. Like, do you ever look around at some of those and be like, how cool would it be to kind of come back with something like this, right?
Yeah, we've always wanted to do. As you can see, we've got our monster cereals. So
right.
Look, that's the Count Chocula mini bars up there.
Mhm,
I know it's kind of hard to see. We got those at the store. I was like, we went through this thing of we wanted to frame all that stuff because we love, and it's when I do my room tour, I'm going to show all this stuff because we've turned our living room into, like a dinosaur Dracula. She loves dinosaur Dracula. So when she saw him do the thing where he took his wall and framed everything up, our living room, the whole back wall, it's like McDonald's ads and Kool-Aid jammers, Kool-Aid, whatever it's called. And, but that's stuff we want to do, like Kool-Aid, make a scent for that, or Sharkleberry Fin. City loves those every time they have those Sharkleberries.
Yeah, I mean, but that would be great to do. And I mean, you can, if you worry about, getting around, having the Kool-Aid guy or whatever, like you can get around it. You just got to tweak the name a little bit. Like there's plenty of companies that will do something and call it like something different, right? Like,
tell them about the Macho Man shirt. Wasn't there a Macho Man shirt where the guy who's selling the shirt called it?
Oh, yeah, there's a company, and I bought a shirt that it was a Slim Jim shirt.
Oh, it's the funny. She wears it. Tell them what the shirt says.
What does it say?
It says, "I snapped into a Slim Jim and I never snapped out of it," or something.
Yeah, but on their website they called it instead of Slim Jim, it was Skinny James.
So you see, like that's what I'm saying. Like there's a company out there right now that's doing like action figures and he's making like wrestlers, right? So he can't utilize, like he just did The Godfather, right? So he can't call it The Godfather. It looks like him, but he called it Smoke Train. He called it buy your smoke train figure, but it's Godfather. Like but I guess for legality reasons he had to change the name or whatever. But it's something like that. Like trying to think, like it'd be sick. Remember those PB Max do like a peanut butter scent? Remember those things back in the day? Had like a really 80s like logo, whatever.
Right.
Like little things like that. I have a candle from a company from years ago. It's like a cherry flavored smell. It was for these popsicles I had as a kid with like Dracula on them. Do you remember those? I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
No, I don't.
I'll check the chat. But it's got like a cherry smell. That would be a real cool one to do. It was my grandmother used to buy them for me. They were black popsicles, and when you bit them, there was like red inside, and it had like a specific cherry scent. But it was a cool concept that would probably make for a cool candle. So doing like old school foods and stuff like that would be really, really cool, I think.
Yeah, we've always wanted to do kind of like all the monster cereals and things like that, just to kind of, because they're all distinct. So
I would love to do the monster cereals because they all smell like all of them would smell great. You got your Yummy Mommy and Fruit Brewed, and blueberry would be awesome. So,
well, and I mean, I don't know if it's on the list, but best time to do it would be October, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Or
if I just get antsy and I'm like, screw it, let's put them out in June.
That happens.
Couple things in the chat right now. Michigan Dipper says he never worries about the shipping. He gets here. Julian asks where you can get the Planet CHH shirts. Where can you get these?
If you like on my Teespring, Julian, if you just go to my channel, click the description. Every video that I have, like in the description, it has the link to my Teespring store. And Sydney actually designed some shirts for me. One of my favorite designs was Ghoulies 3. Ghoulies Go to College. We made a Ghoulies 3 shirt. It says
Stay in school.
Stay in school. And it's the fat ghoulie, the cat ghoulie wearing the football jersey with his fat neck and stuff burrowing out of the collar. It's a cool looking shirt. So there's all kinds of stuff on there, but the Planet CHH shirts are on there too. And you can get crew necks if you want a sweatshirt or anything. Do
you have UNEEDA Candle shirts on there too, or no?
I do. I have a UNEEDA Candle shirt. And then on the back is cool. I should have wore it tonight, but on the front it says UNEEDA Candles. And on the back of it says send more wax melts. So
that's awesome.
Like Return of the Living Dead. Yeah.
Landfill Joy says he's down to his last cube of the first Friday run.
Cheers.
Oh, Michigan's got the shredder one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did that.
So if you have those, don't throw away the package on them.
Mel wants death toilet melts.
I'll make Mel a private listing for a death toilet. We can talk about payment installation.
Here we go. Texas Chainsaw Massacre dinner table scent.
Yeah, see, like that would smell like sweat.
You've got to do it. Smell like barbecue sauce or something like that on the Texas chainsaw. That'd be sick.
Those are going to be good, though. I guarantee you. When we do Texas Chainsaw, people better be ready because that's going to be a hell of a listing.
Phantasmat wants the convention attendee not wearing deodorant sent.
Yeah.
That'd be the worst one.
That's something I don't want anybody to have to experience, though.
Oh, my God. It's funny because people are talking about the VHS store and they're saying carpet and burned popcorn.
Right.
They're saying VHS smells definitely carpet and sunburned paper.
It's not a bad smell, though.
Popcorn and suntan lotions. Dude, 10 says.
Yeah, how many stores did Wes have?
Well, it's funny because him and Piz both said the same thing. Like where they grew up, they said there was always tanning salons and movie stores were like combined.
In Kentucky? People tan in Kentucky?
I guess so.
They got farmers tans. But
Piz said the same thing, but I didn't have that around here.
No. What kind of utopia they living in?
Summer of Jaws.
Yeah, we're gonna do Jaws too.
So that's awesome, guys. I mean, awesome stuff you're doing over there. Like I said, you're pumping things out. It's really feels like a full-time gig, doesn't it, Sid?
Oh yeah, it definitely takes up majority of my time.
But yeah, I tell people when they ask us about this and doing it, I've had this conversation with Sydney sometimes, and I'll just say, you know what, Sydney, I don't want to die or be on my deathbed or be in as small as it is. I'm not jaded. It's a small wax melt thing. We're not getting rich off of it by any means, for God's sakes. No, we're paying some bills with it, but I don't want to live with regret. So I was telling Sydney, I'm sick of talking about doing this. Let's just effing do it, and let's go for it. And people are amazing, man. People will support you if you put out something cool, they'll support it. So we've been blessed. We've been really blessed. But like I said, but again, in the beginning, I'm not jaded. A lot of people came out to show support. There's no doubt. But I can say confidently, people keep buying because they say this. You can't get this at the store. You can't get this level of treatment. You're not going to get free candy and cool. Sometimes Sydney usually writes out all the notes. But if you ever have one with sloppy handwriting, keep that card. That's a rare CH sign note.
Well, I mean, I got to give you guys both a lot of credit for multiple reasons. Like you said, it is important to, and I get stuck in this all the time because, I'm kind of a workaholic when it comes to a lot of things. I got a bunch of different things on my plate and, it takes a lot of time up. And, like you said, though, you don't want to die with regret, right? So even though it's small, I mean, it's something you guys can do together. I mean, if it becomes massive, great. If not, then, like you said, you're having fun with it. It's probably better than going to 9 to 5. You're paying the bills with it. Like, I mean, so these are all great things that I feel like you said, it's, if you never tried, you never know. So it's so important. And anybody else listening in the chat, like I totally agree. And sometimes I even got to step back with certain things. And, I talk to Mel and Justin all the time. And sometimes they tell me to chill on some stuff because I'm always just working on things. But, and, sometimes I think to myself, I got to step back because I don't want to regret, at the end of the day, hey, all I did was work all the time. And I love doing this because this to me it's not work, it's fun, but of course you have to schedule things, put them in your schedule. Like you worked all day, you had to make sure, okay, we're going to go home, we're going to be on the show. But it doesn't feel like work. And I think that's what really, really helps. And I want to give credit to Christian too. And I don't even know if Sid knows this, but he definitely takes what you're doing super serious because there's been times where he'd tell me hey, something's going on sale. I'll be at work. And all of a sudden I'll be like, all right, hey, I'm going to go on the sale right now. He's like, oh, it's already sold out. I'm like, oh, can you get me one? He's like, no, I can't. I try to get him to do me a solid. Oh, my bad, dude. I missed one. Can you just send me one? He's like, no, I'm not going to you have to wait until it comes back out again. He's like, this is Sydney's gig. I'm not just going to be like, oh, hey, make some extra ones for a couple of my friends or whatever that missed the sale. So you got to be, you got to give him credit on that. He's taking it very serious and, respects your time and all this other stuff. So,
and for the people that will say, oh, I didn't know it came out. If you got Etsy on your phone or the app, it's just like YouTube. Favorite our shop. As soon as it gets listed, you'll get a notification. Boom. So it's just like the people that'll say, Christian, you haven't uploaded a video in a while. I've uploaded 7 videos in the last 2 days. Ring the damn bell. But actually, the bell doesn't work for some people. But if you want to keep, I know you're probably going to get to this, but I can't hammer this home enough. Instagram, UNEEDA Candles. We keep you up to date on everything, and we tell you when the launches are coming and things like that. So, but yeah, if you get the Etsy app, even if just you want to remotely be aware of us, you better say, I'd rather you know about it and say, oh, I'm not interested in any of these than to miss out on it. Because it sucks when people that really want to get some of the listings, and I want people to have them, and they'll be like, I missed it.
I didn't even know that there was a button to do that on Etsy. Like, I don't go on Etsy quite often, but I didn't know that you could do that like on YouTube, where you could ding a bell and it would notify you when something drops. I had no idea. So maybe a lot of people in here didn't know that either, which I think is really, really cool. So make sure you definitely click that link in the description, hit that bell or whatever that notification is over there, so you know when they drop.
It's like favoriting the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then find them on Instagram. Like they said, they'll always upload when their new things are coming, and even Christian as well. He'll always put it in his stories if something are coming or whatever, and share the posts.
Right.
But Gus in the house, what's up, man? Wild Wrangler says, what's up? What's this? Michigan said, trust me, I still have my UNEEDA Candles Christmas card, and you could tell they both signed it.
Yeah.
But guys, I usually try to keep this about an hour. We're at an hour 13. We are caught up in the chat now. So if there's anything that you guys want to promote or talk about really quick before we end this, because I know you guys have things to do. It's a little bit earlier over there than it is over here. So it's all yours, guys. Promote, do whatever.
You're the promoter. Christian's always the promoter.
Like I said, Friday, the Evil Dead, they're gonna kick ass. They look amazing. We're gonna have posts for those tomorrow, and then the Blair Witch. Can you grab one of those, City? We got Blair Witches Friday too. I just thought that'd be a great idea for a melt. So we've got the Blair Witch melt that's gonna be available Friday too, and these smell great. These I forgot what that is, but it's really good. And this is the design on the Prince of Darkness. Look at that. I mean, you can't get that at the store. It's like black and green, like that.
Like that thing, yeah.
It's the devil, And so we got the Evil Dead's coming, and again, those will be out Friday, and it's usually always 6 p.m. Central Time, so 7 in the East. And again, you order those from us this weekend, boom, they're shipped out. So we're working on I want to get into the body wash. We're working on soap and body wash. I think the body wash is going to be a big winner once we kind of get that situated. But yeah, if people want to support us in terms of apparel, if you go to my Teespring, again, go to my channel and just click the description, and you can go to my store on there. You'll see a number of designs. We have a UNEEDA Candle shirt on there, and I've got everything marked down as low as it'll go. I'm not trying to make money off of the merchandise, for God's sake. So that's just something if you want to support us in an extra effort by getting a cool shirt or something like that. And we're putting stickers in all the orders now too. And we've actually got UNEEDA. I don't know if they're handy anywhere, but we've got UNEEDA candles. Do you have any, City, handy just to show people? Because if anybody's watching that's never ordered, we can kind of give them an idea of some of the added stuff they can get. City makes these little pouches right now. Like for instance, these what we're putting in with. These are free. You don't have to pay for them. They come with your order. You get these little pouches, and we got candy in them. And look at this. You get 2 stickers for free. Like whoever orders something, they'll get this Pennywise the Clown sticker, and then you get a UNEEDA Candle sticker.
Nice.
You get that. I mean, that's free. I mean, so it's like you can't get that at the store. So, if you don't, and look, we've even got the good flavored Lifesavers in here. We don't have the orange in there. We got grape and red. Somebody's getting orange. But my point is, again, I want people to realize, when they come to order from us, I want them to say, I was treated like a king. I got my stuff shipped to me like that. My stuff is in great shape, and I get free stickers with it. So, I mean, you really can't you really can't beat it. Like, why would you go buy a pumpkin spice at Walmart? If you come to us, you're gonna get a trick or treat or a Halloween pumpkin spice. You're gonna get stickers. It's just like, and then even the packaging. We got our shipping bags. We got orange and black. So when you get it in the mail, it's like, oh, that's cool. It's the little extra things. We want it to be an experience every time you order from us. So for people that haven't tried us yet, Friday, I'm telling you, UNEEDACandles.com. Go to our Etsy page. We have the link for our Etsy store, which operates the same way. You can order from our Etsy store or our website. It's the same channel, basically. If you haven't tried us yet, I guarantee you come to us Friday, get our Evil Deads, Blair Witches. You're not going to regret it. You're not going to regret it. And it's also, if you always buy more than one, because you're going to not spend much more at all for the shipping. If you buy 3, they fit in the same size envelope. You get the best bargain that way. So if you haven't tried us, I'm telling you, go for us Friday. Try our Evil Deads, our Prince of Darknesses, and our Blair Witch Wax Melts. You won't regret it.
No, man, I totally agree. And another thing, too, if you guys appreciate everybody who came in and checked this out live. If you're watching it live or on the replay and you're not subscribed to Planet CHH over on YouTube, do it, because he's almost at 16K subs. And he's going to do like a house tour, right? It went from a room tour now to a house tour. He's raising the stakes on this, right?
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of start about, I don't know when it was, maybe a year ago. Said he just wanted to start kind of decorating the house fun, Mm-hmm. So we've got neon Grim Reapers over there. Our wall in here is so cool. And I got one picture that I got to put up. There was a company, I forgot the name of the company, but they did a limited edition Friday the 13th Part 3 print, and it's a 3D looking print. And as a matter of fact, if you take any red and green glasses you might have from a blue, like for instance, Friday the 13th Part 3, odds are you've got a release that comes with those glasses. If you put those glasses on and look at the poster that I have in here, Jason pops out at you. It's a 3D print.
Is it like a black and white print almost?
No, it's a colored print, but when you look at it, it almost looks a little blurry. It's beautiful.
It's funny because I have one of those, but I think mine might be what's his name's not on it too, is he? What's his name? What's the guy's name in part? It's not a Part 3 print, is it? It
is a Part 3 print.
Is what's the guy's name with that gave him the mask, the heavyset guy? What was his name?
Shelley.
Is he on there too?
No. It's beautiful, and the only reason Sydney allowed it is because it has this 80s is too simple of a word, but it has this almost cartoon vintage aesthetic to it. It's a beautiful print. So I got that up on the wall.
All right, don't show it until the tour.
No, it's high up. I'd have to get on a ladder to get to it anyway.
Yeah, leave him hanging on that one. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me in here tonight talking about UNEEDA Candles. And Sid, you did great, kid. This is your first on somebody else's show, right? I like to get these different kind of people up on here, and you did a hell of a job.
I mean, I haven't been on Christian's channel in many moons.
See, well, now you're going to be itching to do it. You can be like, can I come on the show? not those late night ones. No, gets a little wild over there.
Yeah, I can hear him cackling from the living room.
It's too funny. We have a fun time over there. But guys, thank you again for coming on. This is Christian and Sydney over at UNEEDA Candles. Again, find them at UNEEDACandles.com. Also, check them out on Instagram and follow Planet CHH on YouTube if you're watching this live or on the replay. This is Garrett at Born to Be Rad, and like always, stay